I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Welcome to a new episode of the Stick and Move podcast. I'm your host, Trey, here with my co-host, Sam. And today we are discussing one of the most controversial heavyweight fights of all time. We watched it, we scored it, and we're going to give it to you. And that is Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis 1. Now, before we show you guys our cards, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the fight, what we remember for almost already, over 30 years already.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of, you remember this era very clearly. We had countless episodes talking about the 90s heavyweight boxers. We even did our top 3 heavyweight boxers of all time. What did this era mean to you? And then finding out that Lewis and Holyfield were finally going to meet up. Talk to me.
Dude, look, man, I just saw this fight. It's been, I don't know how many years back since this fight happened.
Yeah.
And 1999, bro. 1999, bro.
Yeah.
All right. And
25 years. I guess I was way off.
Yeah, in 1999. Yeah. And what I saw, bro, was the introduction. I saw it on YouTube. The introduction of this fight. Dude, the monsters, bro. We had Foreman. We had Oliver McCall. We had Michael Moore. We had Ray Mercer. We had Riddick Bowe. We had Holyfield. We have Lennox Lewis. We had Mike Tyson. Larry Holmes. We had Mike Tyson. Bro, this had to have been one of the best eras of heavyweight boxing ever, bro. And this fight, man, I learned something. I learned something on this fight,
all right.
bro.
All right, you want to say it or you want to wait till later?
No, if we could talk about it now.
Go for it. Hit me. Yeah.
Go for it. I learned something about this fight. Lennox Lewis came in, bro, in the best shape of his life. Well, actually, I think when he came to fight Mike Tyson was the best shape of his life.
Okay.
But there was a lot of things that I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver McCall he was trained by Emmanuel Stewart, bro, when he knocked out Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
In the second round. That was amazing. I didn't know that.
Oliver
and
yeah. You good.
Oliver
you're right.
McCall. Yeah. I think they called him the Atomic Bull. Can I be wrong? But anyways, and another thing about that I want to say, and Holyfield looking like Holyfield does, bro, like a damn statue. The only thing that I saw that before the fight started was the reach.
I saw that too. 84-inch reach. I have it here on my notes. Yes, go for it.
That is amazing. But dude, two giants again, just like the Riddick Bowe Holyfield fight. Two monsters, two gods in their time of the heavyweight division, bro. Great fight, man. By the way.
Yeah, this is what I want to say, bro. Even you brought up the era, right? You brought up how great we've had countless episodes of this era being all-time great. But you know what I appreciate is that, and we talked about this on an earlier episode as well. Even the second tier heavyweight fighters, in my opinion, like the guys like Rockman, I don't know if you remember Larry Donald, Mercer, Moore, Tom Morrison. I think those second tier level heavyweights would have been top tier of the 80s. You know what I'm saying? I think if those guys would have fought more in the 80s, it would have gave a little bit more legitimacy in the 1980s heavyweight boxers. We always look at the 1980s heavyweight boxers as kind of like a dead era, which was why Tyson was able to dominate the way he did during that time.
Yeah.
I think if those guys would have been around earlier, 10 years earlier, 15 years earlier, I think, and Tyson would have ran through all those guys, if he would have or would not have, I think his career would have been definitely more I guess you could say valid than what it is. You have any thoughts on that?
No, I agree.
That second tier. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the '80s was tailor made for Mike Tyson. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look who
Okay.
was holding the title, Michael Spinks. I
Okay.
mean,
Conspiracy.
um, um,
Conspiracy. I like it.
yeah, it was a different time than the late '90s, early 2000s. I was just amazed. I was blown,
Mm-hmm.
bro,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize like the fighters they had in that era, the people they had to compete with,
Mm-hmm.
compared to because I mean we never saw Mike Tyson versus what's his name, Riddick Bowe.
Nope.
We never
Or
saw Mike
yeah.
Tyson versus George Foreman. You
Nope.
know what I'm saying? And dude, I mean, this was stacked, bro. This era was stacked compared to, in my opinion, the middle '80s to late '80s.
Well, look at the fights that led up to Holyfield, leading up to Lewis. I mean, he fought Tyson twice. He fought Michael Moore. He fought Riddick Bowe, Ray Mercer, Michael Moore again, Riddick Bowe. I mean, even Alex Stewart. I remember him as well. And then going with Larry Holmes and then fighting Bowe again. I mean, Holyfield. This is why he has that warrior title, that warrior nickname. That's why is he a Hall of Famer? 100%. Is he one of the greatest of all time? Of course, because he put himself in the fire and he wasn't taking no tune-up fights in between bouts. He just, who's the next big guy? Who is next? I mean, he risked his belts over and over and over, leading to this unification bout with Lennox Lewis. And if I'm not mistaken, Holyfield had 2 of the belts and Lewis had 1. This would be
Yes.
4-belt era. And,
Mm.
this is
It,
considered,
it was a
uh,
unification fight.
yeah, yeah. And this is considered one of the greatest robberies. When you and I did the episode, I put the link on our description below. Uh, we did our top 3 greatest robberies of all time, and then you and I started a series of top robberies where we score a fight to see if it was an actual robbery. Uh, on the comments was always Lewis versus Holyfield. So we're finally here. We're finally talking about it. We finally scored the fight. I watched it twice. I watched it with sound and then without sound. I wanted to get into it. Um, so let's do it. So I'm going to post our cards here. Give me 1 second while I load this sucker up. And I see. Hey guys, Trey here. If you love today's controversial episode and you want to see our channel grow, please drop a like, subscribe, and also comment. Sam and I are always going back and forth with those commenters on our controversial topics and opinions, and we love it so much. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, most importantly, so our channel can grow and we can give you guys the best content as possible. Sam and I were always uploading multiple videos a week, and we want to continue doing that, and we need your help. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. And most importantly, like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby. That you have Lennox 116, Holyfield 113, and I had mine 116, 112 also for Lennox Lewis. So let's break it down by 4 rounds, let's see here. You had both. You and I had the same first 4 rounds: 10-9, 10-9, 9-10, 9-10. What did you notice early in that fight going into this bout?
The jab. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That Lennox was controlling the fight with his jab and controlling the distance. Lennox Lewis, it was just jab, 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 overhand right. That's how he was managing through this whole fight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it was pretty much getting to feel each other.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Oh, and I mean the arrogance of Lennox, showing them, hey, you know what, I got this in control. But it was pretty much the first 4 rounds. It was Lennox controlling the ring with a jab and an overhand right.
You go to that long reach, that 84-inch reach. I think that was the difference. I think that was what made Lewis an all-time great. Of course, he had all-time skill, of course, but that 84-inch, that's like the heavyweight equivalent of Hitman Hearns bringing into the heavyweight division. That length, nobody can compete with that, and I think that was established early on in those first 4 rounds. what I enjoyed about the first 3 rounds, in my opinion, was Lewis coming out, starting every round with combinations with flurries, and oftentimes just handling Holyfield. It wasn't until that 3rd round where Holyfield, I thought you had him winning, Holyfield winning. I had Holyfield winning, where Holyfield finally fought back. I think in the 2nd round, Holyfield only threw what, 7 or 8 jabs, if I'm not mistaken, connected only 8 times, if I'm not mistaken. And that 3rd round, Holyfield, there was that guarantee. I remember in the press conference, he was saying, I'm going to knock out Lewis in the 3rd round. I think he felt that pressure. I think he knew he was losing the first 2 rounds. So Holyfield just tried to get inside of that long jab, and he controlled that fight. He didn't let Lewis start the 3rd round, or I'm sorry, start the 4th round, going into the 4th round, coming out fast, and Holyfield controlled it, even wobbling a little bit Lewis, and taking those last 2 rounds. To me, I had it even. I know the scorecard had it 3-1 going to 4. Did you agree with that going into the Letterman scorecard?
That he had what did he have?
He had it 3-1, and I noticed that you and I had it both. We had it even after 4.
We had it even after 4. Yeah. Look, I mean, the thing is, I was with Letterman's card because, dude, I mean, he cracked him in that 3rd round. He put on the pressure. He found a chink in the armor,
right?
And he just, when it went to the 4th round, Lennox again controlled the pace, in my opinion. But they both had rallies.
They did.
They both had rallies. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, you and I both had it even. And Letterman had it 3-1. I saw it more as even. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, even he said this is going to be a hard round to judge. I mean, because both had their chance, and that's why I think it was the 4th round that I gave them both the 10 round.
10, I have it. You have it 10-9 Holyfield that 4th round.
On the 4th round?
Yeah. Let me see here. Did you?
No.
Oh no, you had it Lewis. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you had it Lewis 10-9. So you were more leaning towards that directive. And you know what? I could see that. It was a little bit more even. Let's go back to the 1st round. What did you think when it ended and Holyfield tries to tackle Lewis to the mat? What did you think about that dirty tactics? Because even in that 1st round, the last 20 seconds, Holyfield goes back to the dirty show, like we've talked about. Goes in with that headbutt, and all of a sudden trying to tackle him. Was Holyfield playing mind games, or was it just that's just who Holyfield is?
It was brute versus brute, bro. He wanted to show Lennox Lewis that he was not going to be pushed around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he showed him his strength. And that's when he had lifted him off of his back or something like that, right?
Right. He did, actually. Yeah, so let's go to the middle portion. You had it all 5 rounds for Holyfield. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually, the 8th round, the 8th round, you had it a draw, 10-10. And I had the next 5 rounds going into the 8th round, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I had it for Lennox, all 5 all the way down. So let's talk about those middle rounds. What did you see in those middle rounds there?
It was Lennox, dictating the pace, and Holyfield just chasing him around, and he was just Holyfield. I mean, Lennox was he was connecting, bro. He was connecting with the overhand rights. He was just tagging him. He was busting him up. There was a moment, I don't remember what round it was. There was a moment where he shook Holyfield.
Well, you remember in that 5th round, Lewis catches Holyfield going low and hits him in the back of the head. And Holyfield was just like, and then Lewis was just capitalizing, just hitting him with those nonstop long jab combinations, taking that fifth round away from Holyfield.
Yes.
It was an interesting early fight, man, especially in those middle rounds. I think Lewis was taking control. I think when Holyfield got hurt in that fifth, because he got hit in the back of the head pretty hard, any hit in the back of the head is always hard to recover from. I think it took him 4 or 5 rounds to finally snap out of it and get into the fight. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like they told him. I'm pretty sure they told him, "Hey, you're losing. You're losing on the points. You're losing to the cards. You're losing to the judges." And he had to pick up the pressure. You know what I'm saying? And that's why later on, after that 8th round, you started seeing Holyfield start dominating the fight. In my opinion.
And I have it here on my notes. I thought Lewis was outpointing him in that 8th round. It kind of looked more like an Olympic style fight in that 8th round. But even going back, I want to go back a little bit more to round 7, bro. When Lewis would catch Holyfield with the jab, and that was after.
Oh yeah, I got
when
it.
they both get tackled on the ground. What'd you think about that when they got tackled on the ground at that point?
It was frustration, in my opinion.
Right.
I think Holyfield was already getting frustrated, and they were both trying to, push, each other around. And Holyfield was getting busted up, man, throughout the fight. There was a moment through the fight where I thought, this is good. For me, what I saw in the first half of the fight, at least, was complete domination by Lennox Lewis, bro. And it was frustrating Holyfield, in my opinion.
There was a moment when the second they got up after both being tackled onto the mat, Lewis automatically starts. He goes in fast, connecting with those stiff jabs, overwhelming Holyfield. But one thing I'll give props to on Holyfield towards the end of that round, when Holyfield was against the ropes, and at that point, like you were saying, it looked like Lewis was just too much. Holyfield does a masterful job of just getting out of the ropes and countering and being able to finish the round strong, I guess you could say, in that 7th round, going into that 8th, where, I kind of feel like Lewis was just dominating, outpointing him till about the minute 30 mark where Holyfield would finally start connecting. But I just think it was just a little too late going into those last championship rounds that we like to call it, So anything else you saw in that middle part of the portion of the fight before we move on to the last part?
I think that this is just my opinion, man. I think that there's reasons why a lot of boxers from different fights change coaches, bro. And I'll get to that to the end, but I think it was a coaching issue that, Holyfield never changed his position. He was falling into the same trap that Lennox had him in. And throughout the fight, I thought, man, there's now I understand why there's fighters that they'll have a different coach for a different fight. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, just my opinion, but
here's something interesting. Lewis had already been in 35 professional fights. It was 34-1 going into this fight. Holyfield was already 36-3. He already gone through a gauntlet of heavyweight champions and notables and top contenders at that time. So a 36-3 record for Holyfield is, to me, very impressive considering the run that he was on. What came up to me that actually blew my mind just as much as Lewis's 84-inch reach for you was that this was only the 4th time, if I'm not mistaken, Lewis in his career had gone past the 8th round.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. And I think Holyfield at that time has gone past the 8th round like 14 or 15 or 16 times, if I'm not mistaken. So you're talking about, like you said, 2 mega brutes going at each other and learning how to go the distance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think Lennox Lewis, because I'm looking at your card, if we go to the last 4 rounds, you kind of had it a little bit even. You had it more lead. You had 3-1 for Holyfield going to those 4 rounds, and
Yes.
I had it even, had 2-2 going into those 4 rounds. And I'll admit that 12th round, I could have gone Holyfield as well, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What you see in those 4 rounds, and I'll give you my perspective. How did it get to that point?
It got to that point because Lennox stopped jabbing, bro. He stopped jabbing. And when I was like, when I started seeing Holyfield in that 9th, 10th, and 11th round, in my opinion, dominating, it was when Lennox was backpedaling. He was backpedaling. He was the aggressor. And those three rounds, he was getting tired.
Right.
And he's when he stopped the offensive attack, Holyfield pounced on it, bro. And Holyfield knew that he needed a knockout to win.
Right.
You know, and I favored Holyfield those 3 rounds, 9, 10, and 11, dominating, chasing Lennox, being the aggressor, and tagging him, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He Holyfield is the warrior for a reason. And that's why I had Holyfield dominating those 9, 10, and 11th round.
Here is the thing. This is why I think Holyfield came on strong towards the end. It could have been 3-1. I had it 2-2. I could have gone 3. I went 3-1, but it was very even those last 4 rounds. And this is why for me. I think Holyfield, even though it was years before, being battle tested, fighting against a much, much larger Riddick Bowe was, I don't want to say the training he took, but he was battle tested to go the distance with a bigger, much larger fighter like Lennox Lewis. I think what Holyfield did was take that into consideration, take his experience going past going those 12 last going past the 8th round with big old giants like Riddick Bowe, even though he lost the majority of those fights in that trilogy, and bringing that into the ring. And I honestly think, now let me ask you this. I honestly think that if it was a 15-round fight, it could have been a different fight, because if you look at the 11th and 12th round, Holyfield was still bouncing up and down. He had the endurance.
He was coming on. Yeah, he was coming on.
He had the endurance. And man, too little, too late. He's 15 years too early. That who knows what could have been. Go ahead.
Yes, bro. I was thinking the exact same thing. I said this would have been a different turn if it was a 15-round fight.
I agree.
But and what I saw, bro, what I saw is that Emmanuel Stewart, bro, had a great strategy.
Right.
And there was a lot. I'm probably gonna get a lot of comments about this, and not nice ones either. But I saw a lot of similarities in Tyson Fury and Lennox Lewis, bro.
Oh, okay.
With the jab,
style,
with the jab, and Lennox did this. He did this a couple of times where he puts his body on top of Holyfield's back to tire him out.
Literally about to say that, because that last round and a half, going midway from the 11th to 12th, Lewis was just on top of him.
On top of him. And that's a Tyson Fury strategy.
Exactly. And using that big frame, 6'5", 6'6", almost outweighing him by 30, 40 pounds, just putting him down. And I think that was huge in the effect of Evander Holyfield. Go ahead, finish your thought. I know I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I think this that Lennox Lewis's Manuel Stewart's game plan for Lennox Lewis was the deciding factor. And there's a lot of things I've learned about this fight also. The similarities, right? They're both Tyson Fury, Lennox Lewis, trained by Emmanuel Stewart, Kronk Gym. But also this. Yeah, but also this. Dude, I'm going back a little bit, guys. When he fought Oliver McCall without Emmanuel Stewart to where he was with Emmanuel Stewart, dude, Emmanuel Stewart made Lennox Lewis high caliber, bro.
He did. He took him to another level,
yeah,
bro.
he took him to another
It's
level.
huge. I wouldn't even say a higher level, high level. Like he leaped to an
Yes.
echelon where it was
Yes.
a pyramid that they thought like, oh, this is the top tier, but he went to an extra tier where many
Exactly.
people, you and I have done top 3 greatest heavyweights. We've had many heavyweight conversations. Lewis often forgotten, but because we have such great historians in our subscribers, they'll be the first ones to tell you. For the most part, Lewis is top 5 on everybody's heavyweight list.
Dude. He is after this fight, after many fights that I've seen of Lennox, I have to give this man his props, bro. He is probably one of the greatest heavyweight boxing champions of all time, bro. Honestly.
Let me ask you a question. Let me see here. Going back to Holyfield's, because I think um if it was 15 rounds, he would have won. He would have just tired out Lewis. Because to me, going back in the 3rd round, I thought I saw Lewis's jaw just drop out of exhaustion. Like he looked tired already. And I was like, oh. And I was wondering, wait. I remember watching this. I remember thinking, and even now that we started this podcast, this is a great robbery. What happened in the fight where Lewis, in my opinion, maybe he was tired in that 3rd round, where he got this second surge? I want to go more into the Holyfield perspective. Do you think, because if we show the scores right here, they had an American judge, they had an English judge, a South African judge. Now, the American judge scored it 115-113 for Holyfield. The English judge, you talk about non-bias, had it actually a draw at 115-115. And the South African judge had it 113-116 for Lewis, leading it to become a draw. Nobody won this fight. Everybody kept their belt. Do you think by any chance that Holyfield's elusiveness, because let's face it, even though Lewis outlanded him 348 to 130. Do you think it was a combination why the judges gave it a draw is because Holyfield looked more fresh going into the later rounds? 1, and maybe 2, was it Holyfield landing more effective punches versus the allotment that Lennox was putting on? What do you think? To make
Look, it's because this is the problem with the judging.
Yeah.
Some judges, bro, they favor the aggressor.
Right.
So
But
they see.
I think if you're looking at it, not to cut you off, Holyfield was the aggressor because he was bouncing
Yes, he was.
always moving forward.
Yes,
kept the
yes,
fight
he
in
was.
the middle of the ring. Go for it.
Yes, that judge scored it for Holyfield because Holyfield was the one chasing Lennox. Then we get the last judge you told me, the 116-113, exactly what I got.
Right.
Was because we saw what we saw. And it was Lennox Lewis winning more rounds, basically.
Right.
Using the jab and the overhand right.
Those middle rounds won it for Lewis.
Exactly. Yes. Those rounds won it for Lewis. In my opinion, Lewis dominated the fight and was robbed that night.
So let's get to the elephant in the room. Let's actually answer the question to this fight. Was this fight really a robbery? Because if we're looking at each other's score, I have it 116-112, and you have it overall 116-113 Holyfield. Is that a robbery just by the scores?
I have it 116 Lennox.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
113
116, yeah. And I had it 115.
It for me, bro, it was a robbery, bro.
But
it was a robbery.
I have a problem with that. To me, a fight that is a robbery is a 12-0, 11-1, maybe a 10-2 fight. I could maybe squeeze in a 9-3, but anything after that is a close fight. It could go either way unless there's knockouts.
So how
Knockdowns
many
throughout the
rounds did
fight.
you? So how many rounds did you have it for Lennox? And how many
So
rounds
I
did you
had
have
it
it for
1, 2,
Holyfield?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I had it 7-5.
7-5, and you think,
Yeah.
and you don't think that's a robbery?
Yeah, I had it. I'm sorry, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, I had it 8-4. 8-4. Yeah, I had it
And
8-4. I'm looking at my card. I'm like double checking here. I had it
so you got 8
8-4.
rounds for Lennox, 4 to Holyfield.
And you had it, let's see
And
here.
go
You had
ahead.
it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-4 also. Oh, no. You had it 8-5.
4, 5.
No, I'm sorry, because you had a draw in the 8th round. I know that we sound like idiots right now, but you had a
Yeah, I
tie
had
in
it
the
8.
8th round.
Yeah, 8
So
rounds.
you had 8-6. You had it 8-6. Wait,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8-4. Either or.
This is this is the point though.
Right.
This is where me and you are probably going to clash.
That's what I'm saying.
The
I don't
12th
think
round. The 12th round decided to fight, and Lennox won it for me. Period.
what I'm trying to say. You're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-4. I don't think that's a robbery. I mean, do you really think, looking at this fight, that Holyfield got destroyed to where it was a robbery for Lewis?
He got outboxed, bro. He got outboxed. There is I
He,
cannot I can show this fight to a 5-year-old kid with no sound.
yeah.
And I'll tell him, who do you think won this fight? He's gonna say Lennox Lewis won this fight.
Look, I have a worse score than you. I actually have it more of a disparity that Lewis actually beat Holyfield than you did, except I don't think it was as wide of a margin as most people think. I think Letterman had it 9-3, if I'm not mistaken, on the fight. I don't recall it.
So
But
you're saying you're okay that this was a draw?
no. I still think Lewis won.
Okay.
That's why I have it 116, 112. But I
Mhm.
don't think it's a robbery, bro. I can see where Holyfield got a judge. I mean, it was an American judge that got it for him. Maybe that's the corruption that everybody hates about boxing. But look, even the English judge had it a draw. And I think it was the aggression. I think it was Holyfield still being elusive. And maybe Holyfield's jabs, even though he was out almost doubled out punched by Lewis, was more effective on the punches. Maybe
I want to
that's
hear.
what the judges saw.
I want our viewers to comment, please, who you think won this fight.
Yeah, controversial fight. Look, we both have it, Lewis. I don't think it's a
But was
draw.
it a robbery, guys? What is it?
That's
Was it
the
a
question.
robbery?
Not who won. We don't want to know who won. We want to know, is this a legit robbery? Because we both have Lewis winning pretty convincingly. But is it a robbery? I don't think it was a schooling like Whitaker put on Chavez. I don't think it was one of those. I think it was just a better boxer won, and the other boxer showed a great fight, and he just came up short, you know. So, anyways, final thoughts? Go ahead.
It was a robbery, bro, because there was so much on the line.
There was a lot of on the line. You're absolutely
You know what I'm
right.
saying? There was so much on the line. 3 titles. You know, the last thing people want to see was somebody not getting the victory they deserved. Anyways, that's it.
Okay. All right.
I can't wait for the comment section, by the way.
We got great subscribers, so I'm looking forward to that as well. All right. So you have any final words?
All right, just to thank everybody, all our viewers. Keep sharing our channel. If you're new, subscribe. If you got any ideas, any episodes y'all want us to talk about, let us know in the comment section.
Absolutely, guys. We appreciate everything, all the love and support you guys are giving us. For everybody promoting our page, we appreciate it. We're a little bit getting closer to 600 subscribers, so trying to get to our next goal of 1,000. So if you guys can go ahead and pass that love on, we would love and appreciate that. And until our next episode, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick